Hey guys, so I am back, and yes, it is finally time for my review of the ZOEVA brushes that I have in my collection. And this video has been highly requested, and a lot of you guys have been hounding me in the comments, ZOEVA brush review, ZOEVA brush review, like a big chant. And I've gotten emails, I've gotten so many messages about doing a review for the ZOEVA brushes. And I did say for a long time, almost every video I've mentioned, my ZOEVA brush review is coming, and I just ask for patience sometimes because I need to test out the products before I recommend or not recommend them to you guys. I will put products to the test, and brushes are no exception. In fact, they are probably one of the products that I will do the most with. I will test the most. I will put them through the ringer. I'm going to wash them. I'm going to use them multiple times. I'm going to see which ones are practical, which ones can be used this way or that way. Multiple use brushes, how they clean up, how they wash. Do they keep their shape? Do they shed? Do they fall apart? And that takes months and months of testing. So I finally gotten to the point where I'm ready to do the review. So we're just gonna jump into the video because I have kept you guys waiting long enough. So just a quick background on the company itself. It's a German-based brand, and it was founded in 2008, and the owner's name is Zoe, or Zoe, it's spelled Z-O-E, and depending on where you're located country-wise, you may pronounce it differently. But she combined her first name with the name of the first woman, Eva, and she made it ZOEVA. And the company started out with 10 basic makeup brushes, and now they've expanded to 50 makeup tools, so you have a variety of brush designs to choose from. And they also have a full range of colored cosmetics, so face makeup, eyeshadows, eyeshadow bases, different things that are in the cosmetic lineup that you can also check out if you're interested. But most people, especially in the YouTube world, in Instagram land, it's all about the brushes, and for good reason. So we're gonna jump into talking about the brushes because that is what we are here for after all, right? I'll just go into the brushes I ordered, and I'm gonna start out with the set of brushes that I ordered, which is the Luxe Complete Set, which has 15 brushes. There are 5 face brushes and then 10 eye brushes. And as I mentioned, this set comes in a faux leather pouch, and there are various sets that you can buy that come with either a smaller pouch for smaller sets. You can get a brush belt, and there is also like a big travel pouch available for the largest brush set. So depending on what set you get, you would get a different version of this. So the bag that I got is the larger size pouch, and it's a great high quality faux leather. It feels really high quality. It's really thick, and there is a metallic detailing on the front with the ZOEVA logo. It has a great high quality zip. This zip is like really sturdy, really reinforced. It's a great zipper. It's high quality, again with a little ZOEVA detail on the zipper itself. And then inside it's this bright fuchsia pink. It's so pretty, and you even have a little pocket in here that you can open up and put other, it's a deep pocket so you can put little things in there. But this is a great travel pouch for, you know, makeup, brushes. You can use this even to go out. I really think this is such a great pouch for traveling with. I really love this pouch. I think this is such great quality. So the Luxe Complete Set is $135, and as I mentioned, there are 15 brushes in the kit, and that would equate to $9. If you just did it blanket across the board, it's $9 each for these brushes. Plus you get that high quality pouch, which is kind of a freebie, a bonus to it. So if you were to buy each of these brushes individually on the website, they would amount to $175. So you're saving $40 if you just buy the set. So I would really consider buying a complete set before I bought individual brushes, because you are gonna get a great discount on buying the brushes in a set versus individually anyway. Just make sure that the majority of the brushes in the kit are brushes that you would use, and that's what I did. I picked out the kit that had the brushes that I was most drawn to, and then I went ahead and bought individual brushes, which we'll get into later. Before I jump into each individual brush, I wanted to just mention the overall design of the brushes. My brushes are the black handle brushes, but they do have different designs with different color themes and different color handles. So depending on if you may want to check out one of their limited edition brush sets, but I just have the plain black handle brushes. And the brushes themselves has the number of the brush and the actual name of the brush printed in silver on the handles, with the ZOEVA logo also at the end of the brush. And what I found from using these for months is that the print on the brushes are hardcore stamped on there. They're not easy to come off, so you will still have the name printed on there even when you go through using these brushes over and over and washing them over and over again. And then the ferrules are silver. They're held on there pretty securely. And then the brushes themselves are made from a combination of synthetic and natural hair bristles, or they're just synthetic vegan brushes. So if you're into vegan brushes, they do have a lot of vegan brushes available. Also, they don't do animal testing, so they're cruelty free in that way that they don't do animal testing. But if you're not into animal hair brushes, they do have vegan brush alternatives for you to check out. So first up in the complete set is the 101 Luxe Face Definer brush, which is made of natural bristles, and this is meant to contour and apply powder. And if you were to buy this separately, it's $24. And this brush is a nice tapered shape. It is a large brush with a tapered tip, so it comes to a point at the very tip of the brush, which makes it nice to apply contour in the hollows of your cheeks. I like the brush because it's nice, it's soft. It's not the softest out of any brush that I've tried. There are higher quality brushes, more expensive brushes, of course, that cost way more than this, that are much softer, as you would expect. But this is still very soft. It doesn't feel prickly on the skin. It's not harsh on the skin at all. It is great for applying powder, contour, even highlight if you use the very tip of the brush. So this brush, even though I'm not the biggest fan of using big brushes like this on my face, I still think if you're into this kind of design, it's a great brush. And again, you can apply cheek color, bronzer, highlight, contour. It's a great versatile brush because of the shape. I've had very minor shedding where initially a couple of the bristles fell off, but apart from that, I haven't had any crazy shedding from this. I've washed it a couple of times. I do have to shape it to get the shape back so bristles aren't like splayed. So I do use a brush guard to just put over this. Again, you can keep the little protective sleeves to reshape your brushes after washing, but I don't find major shedding at all a problem with this brush. So next up is the 102 Silk Finish brush, which is made from vegan talc and bristles. And this brush is vegan, so if you're interested in more cruelty-free brushes, these are ones to check out. And individually, this would be $15.50 US. And I absolutely love this brush. This is one of the brushes that were in the set that I was like, I need this brush. It is super, super soft. It is ultra soft. It's one of the softest synthetic brushes that I've felt, and it's great for foundation. If you like this kind of buffer shape for your foundation brushes, this is a great one. I have two of these. It has a domed shape, so you're gonna buff foundation in with this. It's great with liquid, great with cream products because it's synthetic. I just think it's an ultra soft, really great brush for foundation, and it's high quality and it doesn't fall apart. Washes up really clean, really well without getting gunky and crazy. I haven't had fallout, and the handle isn't like popping off like my Sigma brushes. This is just a great brush. Next we have another one of my favorite brushes. This is the 105 Luxe Highlight brush, and that is just what it's intended for, is for applying highlight. And this brush is a natural and synthetic blend, so you're gonna get the softness of natural bristles, but you're gonna get the rigidity and stiffness of a synthetic brush. And this guy, it is still soft enough to apply highlight without being overwhelming. It is a little bit stiffer than I would like for a highlight brush, but I still love it. I just really love how it applies highlighter. And it is a smaller version of the Luxe Face Definer in that it has a similar shape with the tapered tip. It's a little bit more rounded, but it has a tapered tip, and it's great for just getting right on top of the cheekbones, you know, getting in the middle of the forehead. It has a great shape for highlighting. Again, not the softest, most luxurious brush, but it still works very well for highlighting. And again, this brush is $15.50 if you purchased it separately. Another one of my favorite brushes from the lineup is the 126 Luxe Cheek Finish brush. I also have duplicates of this, and I have duplicates of the highlighter brush as well. This brush is just really soft. It's softer than the highlight brush to me. It feels as soft as the face definer brush. And this one is made from a synthetic and natural hair blend. So it's not completely synthetic or natural hair. And it's so soft. This one I think they got really right with the softness. It's great for applying brush. I think it's this perfect shape. It's a kind of pinched, flattened shape with a dome top. And this is so great for applying blush. I think this is such an awesome brush for blush color. It's just the right size, so it's not going to overwhelm your cheeks, but it applies just the right amount of blush, and it's soft enough to just diffuse it so it's not overwhelming. So it's not too dense where you're going to pick up too much color and just go berserk with it. So I really love this brush. I think this is one of my favorite brushes. And again, it washes cleanly. It does splay a bit, so I do use a brush guard to keep everything in place. And I've only had like 1 or 2 hairs fall out, nothing major, and it's just like initially a couple of hairs fell out, but nothing overly crazy. It's not shedding or falling apart. Again, holds pretty securely, so I love this brush. The next brush up is the 142 Concealer Buffer Brush. This is a smaller synthetic brush. Again, it's from the same talc and bristles as the Silk Finish brush. This one is really soft again. It's a stiff, small dome shaped brush. It is great for buffing out cream and liquid products. It's great for applying bases to my eyelids, which is what I love to use it for. It's also great for buffing concealer under the eye or in places on your face. I really, really love this brush. I must mention though that this one is a little bit shaky, and I am a little bit worried about it coming apart from the handle. And if it does happen, I'm just gonna have to crazy glue it, but this one is one of them that I found a little wobbly, so I'm not sure what's happening here. I hope it doesn't fall apart, but it does kind of shake as I shake it around. You feel the looseness in the ferrule. But it's a great brush. It hasn't come loose yet, and the bristles stay really compact and in there, and I've washed it, cleans up really nice, no shedding at all. Love this brush. Again, I have 2 of these, and this one would be $10.50 if you purchased it individually. Now we're moving on to the eye brushes, and the first one up is the 221, which is the Luxe Soft Crease Brush. And this one is closest to, I would say, a MAC 222 brush. It's not quite a 217 because a 217 has a different shape. A MAC 222 has those long bristles with a dome shape. This is similar to that. I like this brush in that it's great for just doing nice diffused crease color, and it blends out color really nicely. It is not my favorite brush. I prefer a 217 kind of brush where it's a little shorter in bristle length. This one has longer bristles, so it's going to give you a more diffused look, and I know a lot of people like that, and I actually find it really great for blending as well. This one also has a little bit of trouble with being splayed when you wash it. The bristles kind of flare out, so you do need to definitely shape this one. I've had a little bit of breakage, nothing crazy, but there is some breakage with this one. But I do still think it's a nice brush. It's nice quality, it's not wobbly, and it would be $9.50 if you purchased it individually. I think it's a nice shaped blending brush if this is the shape that you're more drawn to. Next we have the 224 Luxe Defined Crease Brush, which is a smaller version of the soft crease, but it has more of a squared shape at the tip. It's a much thinner brush, and it just splays out. And I don't like this brush at all. I think it's a little bit too floppy and flimsy. It doesn't really do much for me, and it would work to do diffused looks, like really defined areas if you have small eyes, but I feel like it sprays out a little bit too much and it becomes very floppy and kind of flimsy. This is not one of my favorite brushes in the lineup. It just isn't really a very practical brush. It's kind of more flat topped than domed. It's just not one of my favorite brushes. There's not much I can do for this, but if you had smaller eyes, I can see how you might like this, but there are other brushes in the lineup that I think are better. And again, this is $9.50 if you purchased it individually, but this is one that I don't think is a necessity. You can skip this one. Then we have the 227 Luxe Soft Definer Brush. This one is more like the 217 from MAC, and even the J5523 from Hakuhodo, which I absolutely love. That's the kind of shape that we're looking at with this brush. It is more of a flat topped or rounded top brush. It's great for blending. It is a soft brush. It works really well. I think this is a great brush. If you love the 217 from MAC and you wanted a cheaper alternative, this is a great one. It is again $9.50 if you buy it individually. I have a couple of these because I really love it. It's soft. It actually works really well, washes up great. There's no shedding or anything, and it blends effortlessly in the crease. I love this brush. Then we have the 228 Luxe Crease Brush, which I have the 228 just crease brush, which is a black-haired version of the Luxe one. The Luxe one is a white-haired brush. I cannot find it, so I'm just going to use the 228, the regular 228 that I have. It has the same shape, but they are different bristles, and it's very soft. Again, it's one of those great crease brushes. It has a shape similar to the Hakuhodo J142 brush, which is just a very small tapered head brush. It's very soft. It blends the crease colors really well. It has longer bristles though, so it's longer than the other 227 brush. It has longer bristles, but it's really great for blending out the crease area. It gives you a nice diffused look, and it's smaller shaped, so it's not going to be overwhelming in your crease. And if you see it next to the 221, they're similar shapes. They're just great blending brushes. I think the blending brushes from this lineup are really great. So this one again would be $9.50 if you bought it individually. Again, a nice, soft, solid crease brush. Then we have the 230 Luxe Pencil brush, which is a pencil shaped brush. This one has a small shape to it. It's pointed. It's really good for smudging out the lower lash line, smudging out, doing smoky looks on the outer V or even on your upper lash line area. I think it has a great shape. It's soft, and pencil brushes are notorious for being spiky and kind of harsh, but this one is really soft. It does really well. It's a medium shaped pencil point, so it's not the smallest, it's also not the largest. You can use it for inner tear duct colors. I just think it's a nice versatile pencil brush if you're into pencil top brushes. This one is also a great one. Again, it's $9.50 if you bought it individually, and I think it's a great pencil brush. Next, we're getting into the 231 Luxe Petite Crease Brush. This one is a very small crease brush with a very detailed shape. This one is great for defined creases, for cut creases, for small eyes. It's just a very perfectly shaped crease brush. I love this brush. Again, I have multiples of this one because I think this one is so great, especially for small eyes. And it's kind of like a pencil shaped brush with longer bristles, but it has that similar shape. I think it's really, really great. I love it for detailed crease, inner tear duct area, under the eyes. It just works really. I think it's a really versatile brush because it is small, but still it's a fluffy blending brush. It's not overly fluffy, but it's still like a blending brush. So this is a really great brush. Again, $9.50 if you bought it individually. I think this one is a great brush. Now we're getting into more brushes that are meant for packing on color. This is the 234 Luxe Smoky Shader Brush. I have multiples of this again. It's $9.50 if you buy it individually, and it is definitely similar to the MAC 239 in shape and size. It is like almost dead on to the MAC 239. So if you thought the MAC 239 was a little bit out of your price range, this one is a great one to pick up. It is a solid shader brush. It's going to pack on color on the lid. You can also use the edge of it for blending because it is a softer brush. You can still use it for blending. But I think this is one of those brushes that everyone needs in their collection. It's a great brush for packing on color on the lid. Love this brush. And then we had the 315 Fine Liner Brush. This is a bent angled liner brush. It is one of those brushes that some people love, some people hate. I'm one of those that don't like this brush personally. I don't like the shape of it. I don't like an angled shape to my brush, but it actually works really well still to apply eyeliner. If you're a beginner and you need that angled shape to kind of help navigate your upper lash line, it is a nice shape for that. And it's a really small brush, so it's going to give you a nice thin line and you can build up from there. I personally prefer an angled brush for using on my upper lash line, but people that love these kinds of brushes will love this brush as well. It's really soft, really small. It's going to give you nice work on your upper lash line again. This one is $8.50 if you buy it separately. I think it's great for those that like this kind of brush, but I personally don't like and use this kind of brush myself. Now here we have the brush that I would use for liner, and this is the 317 wing eyeliner brush. And this one is $8.50 again if you bought it separately, and it's made from nylon brush bristles, and this one is nice and stiff enough to apply upper lash line liner. You can also use it for your brows. It is comparable to the MAC 263, which has synthetic hairs. It's about like exactly the same. It's a nice shape. It's the same. It's a little bit thinner than the MAC version, so you can get even thinner lines with this one. I think an angled brush is great for upper lash line liner, for doing detail work on your lower lash line as well, and also it can work for your eyebrows. So I think an angled brush is one of those brushes that is just a necessity in anyone's collection. So this is a great brush as well. And then last up in this kit is the 322 brow line brush, and this one is a short, wide, synthetic angled brush, and it's very short bristles. They're very stiff. They are really thin, so you can use them for your brows. I personally, I don't know, I didn't love this initially because I was like, what the heck? But it actually does really well for fading out brow color through your brows. So you can use powder, you can use a pomade. It works product through your brows really well, and it's thin enough to give you a nice detailed line, but not thin enough where it's going to be a harsh line. So I think this is a nice brush. I wasn't in love with it initially, but if you use it for your brows, it's actually a great brush. Another thing that I found great about this brush, you can use it for your lower lash line, so to blend out color down there, to apply color down there. I actually find it really great for that as a definer brush. So it's multiple uses you can use this for, so even if you don't use it for your brows, you're still gonna find something practical to use for to use this brush for. So those are all the brushes in the Luxe Complete Set. I think the majority of the brushes you're going to get great use out of. Some of them you may not use that much because of your preferences, but I think overall it's a great value for your money. It's great brushes. They are high quality. They don't fall apart. You know, they are really solid brushes. So I think that is a great collection to check out. Now I'm going to jump into some of the individual brushes that I picked up. I also picked them up for review because I knew you guys would be interested in them, as well as I'm just personally into these types of brushes. So the first individual brush that I picked up is the 104 buffer brush. Now this might look very similar to other foundation brushes I have in my collection, the Sigma F84, I believe, the flat top buffer brush. This is a similar concept. This one is $18 if you buy it individually, and it is much cheaper than the Sigma version now, which has skyrocketed in prices because Sigma has hiked their prices up, and this one is a much better quality brush. They have a kind of tapered ferrule that pinches the bristles at the base of the bristles, and I find that holds the bristles in place. It's a much better design. The handle doesn't come loose. It washes up really well, and I use it for liquid and cream foundation. And you and I both know, if you're into makeup, cleaning these brushes can be a task and a half because you have to rub really hard. And I have no issues with this. There's no bristles falling out. It works really well. It cleans up like a dream without getting all crazy. And it's really soft because it's made from that synthetic Taklon bristles. They're really soft. These bristles, I don't know how they did it, but these bristles are really soft, and the brushes are still inexpensive. So I think this brush, if you're into buffer brushes for foundation, which I am into, I have a couple of these, love this brush. If you were thinking about the Sigma version, I think this one is a much better option. Here's another one of the Taklon kind of kabuki brushes. This is the 103 defined buffer brush. This one has an angled shape versus the flat shape of the original buffer brush, and it's a smaller shape as well. This one, obviously I used it, but this one is $15.50 if you buy it individually. Again, much cheaper than the Sigma version. And this one is a small shape, and it's great for buffing in foundation and getting like right under the eyes, by the nose area. You can also use it for cream contours, which I found it really works well for that. So again, a very soft brush. It's a little bit stiffer than the buffer brush that I found, so it buffs a little bit better, but I love this brush. I think this one gives a nice airbrush soft finish. This one you can get really buffed out, you know, solid lines if you wanted to do a cream contour with this, and you can get in precise areas with this. I love this brush as well. Then we have this brush here, which is a 109 Luxe Face Paint Brush. And a lot of companies have been coming out with this kind of brush, this design, because a lot of people are big on contouring now and they want this kind of flat top shaped brush that you can do harsh lines with, which I don't really particularly like myself. This one is a natural and synthetic hair mix. They also have just a Taklon version of this, which I wanted to get, but I'm gonna hold off. This one is best for powders instead of creams and like liquid products. So if you're using liquid and cream products, the synthetic version is a better one to get. Same shape, they just have different bristles. This one is natural hair, so this is better with powder products. What I like about it is even though it has that harsh shape, so if you were thinking of getting that NARS Eda brush, it's a similar shape. It's a little bit smaller, but it's a similar shape and it's much softer. It's not scratchy. It applies product and then you can blend it out by doing back and forth motions to blend out the contours. So I think it's a nice brush. It's a little bit too big to do, you know, definite defined contours on your nose, but you can still use it for that if you just want a light buffing on your nose. I think it's a nice brush. I don't love it myself because this is not the shape brush I go for contour. And one thing I must mention is that it sprays when you wash it. So this one definitely needs some tender loving care with a brush guard or one of their protective guards to keep the shape once you wash it. So keep something to shape this brush back in place. And there's a little bit of shedding. Again, 1 or 2 hairs, probably 3 or 4 with this one. But it's a decent brush if that's the shape you're into. Again, this one is $15.50 if you buy it individually, which is saving a lot on those other kind of similar shape brushes on the market that are far more expensive. Then we have the 110 Face Shape Brush. Again, one that I used today. This one I absolutely love. It's a smaller version of the 102 Silk Finish Brush. It's the same kind of dome shape. This one is much smaller. I love this one for my cream cheek products. I didn't realize it until I got my ColourPop cheeks. Those are like creamy products, so I use this, dab it in the product, and buff it onto my cheeks. Perfect for that because it is a synthetic brush, so it works great for liquids and cream products. Works really well to buff the color on and really buff it in. It's a nice round shape, so you can get, you know, a nice defined shape on your cheeks. You can use it for highlight, contour. It just is one of those perfectly shaped brushes. This is one that I want to get a duplicate of, so if I ever place another order, this is one that I'm gonna get another one of. It's a great brush. I love this one, especially for cream type products. And believe it or not, it is only $12 if you buy this individually. And then we have the number 122 Petite Stippling Brush. This guy is also $12 and it's a stippling brush. If you're used to those dual fiber brushes from MAC, Sigma has some, you know, they're all over the place. Dual fiber brushes were all the rage when I just started YouTube. They were used for foundation. I never got into that. I didn't understand. It just doesn't work for me. And I was not a big fan of dual fiber stippling brushes. This one, however, changed my mind, because it has very short white bristles that come out. The dual fiber, so you have black bristles at the base and then the white bristles kind of extend out of it. This one has short hair, so it's much better for applying product. This one is also great for cream blushes, you know, cream highlights, because you can stipple it on, and the bristles aren't long and just awkward for me, which I found with the 187 from MAC. But this guy is just really great, and it's small, so it's like perfect for small areas of the face. I particularly like this for, again, cream products on the cheeks. I think this one works really well for that. But again, it's a specialized brush, so you have to know that you love using cream products on your cheeks and you want to get one of these. But it's still a great stippling brush if you're into those types of brushes. Now we have the 127 Luxe Sheer Cheek Brush. This is an angled shape brush and it's a natural hair brush. This one I didn't like. This one I had a lot of shedding. There are even some bristles poking out right now, but I have a lot of shedding from this and it doesn't hold the shape at all, and you do have to use a brush guard. Even when you use a brush guard, it still kind of splays, and I really don't like that. I just think this one was not really the best made brush in the collection for me. See, bristles are just coming out, and this one, it's soft, it's an angled shape, so it's great for blush, but I just find the blush brush that I showed before this blush brush is much better than this. I just think this one is a skip. It's not as high quality as the rest of them, and when you wash it, it does shed. It's $15.50 if you wanted to buy it individually. I just think this one, even though the shape is nice, I just don't find it to be the highest quality, and maybe they'll improve on that, but it's not my favorite. It's a little bit too splayed. It's still soft, but I wouldn't highly recommend this one at all. Now here we have some more eye brushes. This is a 223 Petit Eye Blender brush. This is a very tiny synthetic buffer brush. This one is more of a pencil type shape, but it has more of a rounded shape to it. So it's great for the inner tear duct area. It's nice for under the eyes. I particularly like this for the inner tear duct area because of the shape, but I find it's a little bit too big to get into like really defined areas. But it's still a nice brush. It's not as versatile as you would think, but I think it's still a nice brush if you are looking for a very small synthetic pencil type brush. It's a larger shape than a pencil brush, so you're not going to get detailed work from this, and you can probably use it in the crease, but I find it's just too small and dense to do crease work unless you're doing defined creases. But this one is not that versatile. I don't think this is the one that you would rush out and get. Then we have the 225 Eye Blender brush, and this one is a natural haired bristle brush, and it's a small blending brush. It's a little bit they have shorter bristles. It's a little bit more spiky. It feels a little bit harsher on the skin. I don't think this is the softest natural hair that they have, so I would go with one of the other blending brushes. This one, I like the shape of it because it's a small dome shaped brush, but I think it would give great defined outer creases. But I just find that the hairs are a little bit harsher than the other synthetic haired bristles, so I think just skip this one and get another one of the blending brushes. The Petite blending brush is better than this one. This one is it just feels a little bit more spiky than I would like. It's not a comfortable brush to use. Again, it's $9.50, but I think you can skip this one and just get one of the other blending brushes. Now we have the 232 Luxe Classic Shader Brush. This is another one of those eye shader brushes that packs on color. It is $9.50 if you buy it individually, and it has longer bristles than the 234 that they have. This one has longer bristles, so if you have bigger eyes or you're into longer haired bristles, this one is going to apply color a little more diffusely because it's not as dense as the 234, but it's still a nice eye shader brush. It gives you a lighter wash of color on the lid. It's larger, so you can use it if you have larger lid space, and it's still nice to blend out as well. It's a nice brush, and it's good to also apply color on the brow bone area. I think it's a great brush. It's a bigger size brush, so if you're into more larger size shader brushes, this is a good one. Then we have the 222 Luxe All Over Shader Brush. This one is a much larger version again of the shader brushes that I showed you before. It is like the big daddy of the brushes, and it's most similar in shape and size to my Tom Ford number 11 brush. It's just a large shader brush. This one would be great for all over color. You can also use it for bases. You can use it for highlighter. It's a nice soft brush, so I think it's one of those great brushes that you don't quite know what you're going to use it for, but then it ends up being this great brush for blending out crease area, for applying highlighter, all over color. It just ends up being a very useful brush, even though you think you're not going to use it that much. It's again $9.50 for this brush. Now we're going to wrap up with the last brush in my collection. It's the 312 Detailed Liner Brush. It is an ultra small eyeliner brush. It is great for detailed work if you're into those small brushes for eyeliner. This is a good one as well. I personally am not in love with this brush because I don't find that much use for it. So this is one of those specialized brushes that you would have to love this shape and want to use it for specific reasons to get it. But it's a nice soft brush. It is a detailed shape. It's nicely constructed. It's nicely designed. It's just not my favorite. It's not the brush that I would gravitate towards, but it's still a very nice detailed liner brush. So I mentioned that the company is German based, but it's also an online based company as well, meaning that you are going to do your shopping for the brushes, the cosmetics online. There's a website dedicated to, of course, the cosmetic line and the brand, and they offer worldwide shipping. So no matter where you're located in the world, it's more than likely that they ship to your country, and they have a full list of the countries that they ship to and the different shipping costs. So definitely check that out. And I'll leave the link below. It's zoeva-shop.de. So I'll leave the link below because it's not intuitive, the website. It's not like zoeva.com. So I'll leave the link below so you can check them out. But on the website details all the brushes, what they're used for, what they're made from. And they have great pictures of the brushes themselves, which is extremely important when it comes to online shopping. When you can't check these brushes out in person, you want to have real life photos so you can look at these brushes, kind of navigate them, zoom in, check out the design, check out the different shape to see if it's something that you are truly interested in. And I think this website does really well with that. They give you great high quality photos that are really true to how the brushes appear in person, and that will give you a, like a better feeling about ordering these brushes based on just photos. Now, like I said, there is worldwide shipping. I'm going to specifically talk about the USA because that's where I'm located after all. And they ship via DHL, and DHL then transfers the shipment to USPS, that's the local post office, and then you'll get your shipment that way. I must mention though, I did run into shipping issues with one of my packages. They got lost in the postal service. DHL did transfer it to USPS, but the postal service just misplaced it. It was never delivered, and the tracking system couldn't show where it was either. So I ended up having to file a claim through PayPal and get my refund that way. The company ZOEVA isn't really going to refund you based on you saying you didn't get your shipment. They're gonna tell you to file a claim. So if you're ordering through them, I would say go through PayPal. That is the best way. It's the safest way because you can file a claim through PayPal. It might take a little while to get your money back, but PayPal will go through the investigation and track down your package, try to find it, and then refund you your money if they find in your favor. But still, even though I had that one bad experience, I did get refunded, and I still find their shipping to be really quick. They ship next day. Like, I order and I get shipping confirmation the next day, and then I get tracking. So I think it's still great shipping, but they have no control over what the postal service is going to do with their package. They were not at fault at all. That is strictly on the shipping service, the shipping courier. So I can't blame ZOEVA for that because it wasn't their fault, but they still dealt with the situation pretty well. So even though I ran into that issue, I would still not object to ordering from them again. So shipping to the USA costs $16 flat rate. So no matter how big or how small your order is, you're still going to pay $16 to ship it to your location. And if that's a little bit too steep for you, which I know it's very steep, but for an international shipment, it's not that expensive. If you really think about it, it's not that expensive, especially when they are so quick to ship next day. It's one of those things that you're just going to have to buy at the cost of shipping. And what you can do is make sure that you're making a complete order. You're getting everything that you want in one shot. Save up towards it and just buy it in one shot. So you only have to pay that shipping once. You don't want to have to pay that over and over again if you forgot to order this or you forgot to order that. So just order like a bulk of product so you can split the cost of the shipping across all the products. Because if you get 16 brushes, you're going to pay $1 extra per brush, which really adding on $1 to these brushes anyway, they're really inexpensive, is not that much. Another thing that you can do is team up with a friend or a couple of friends, and all of you can get together and be like, okay, I want to order these brushes. Let's just all come together and make the order together, and then pay one shipping cost and then split it once we get it. That's another way to break up the shipping costs. Again, just to save you some money. Just think about different ways you can save up on shipping. Another thing that I wanted to mention is the packaging that these products come in when they get delivered to you. So if you buy individual brushes, you will get a little Ziploc bag like this. It's a really heavy duty bag actually. I was very surprised. Has the ZOEVA logo and a little zip at the top, you know, those Ziplocs. And then your brush is going to be inside this little zip bag, and each brush comes in its individual bag. And they do have most of the brushes come with their little safety sleeve at, covering the bristles of the brush. And they even have a little plastic sleeve in that the brush handle actually comes in, which I think is really, really nice to package the products so well. So they come to you, they're hygienically handled, they are damage free, they're just really packaged well, and I really appreciate that. If you purchase the collection, the set of brushes, you're just gonna get them in, well, I will go into this, but you get a little pouch depending on the set that you order. I ordered the Luxe Complete Set and I got it in a little pouch, and you can save the little sleeve and the protective sleeve in for when you wash the brushes and you want to reshape them. Just keep these little sleeves. They're really handy for reshaping your brushes. So overall, I think these brushes are great. They are worth every single penny. They are a great bargain price. They are cheaper than Sigma brushes, which I know they're gonna get compared to, and they've been compared to for a while since they debuted. And I think they're much better quality than Sigma brushes. They're soft, they don't shed, they don't fall apart. My Sigma brushes, I've had a lot of shedding, they fall apart, they splay, and they are higher priced. They're getting to that point when they're almost the same price of some of my higher end brushes. It Cosmetics brushes are actually cheaper than Sigma brushes, believe it or not. And it's like, when did this happen? Sigma used to be low cost, really easy to attain, it's really cheap. Other brushes are coming up in the lineup that are cheaper alternatives and much more high quality alternatives. I know Sigma is trying to improve as they learn more, but I think right off the bat, ZOEVA got it right. They have great quality. They may not be the most ultra soft on the market. They're not the softest hair bristles. The softest hairs I've ever felt would be Suku brushes, which are extremely expensive. And there are various Japanese brands that are extremely soft. You have Hakuhodo brushes that are actually quite affordable too for the quality that you're getting, and those are ultra soft. I would definitely splurge on Hakuhodo brushes, but if you're on a budget, I would go for the ZOEVA brushes. Even if you're not on a budget and you just want to get some great brushes for a lower, more affordable cost, these are great brushes. The eye brushes, the face brushes, the synthetic brushes, such great brushes. I think the blending brushes are my top favorites. I've mentioned which brushes I really love and have duplicates of. I think overall you can't go wrong with getting some ZOEVA brushes. Again, make it worth your while with the shipping, but I think overall they're great brushes. Depending on what you're into, make sure you get brushes that you're going to use that you like the style of. Try to get a complete set so you can benefit from a discounted price. They don't offer discounts in coupons because they are so low cost that they're trying to save you money that way and give everybody the same equal playing ground instead of doing coupons. But they do coupons on special occasions. They might offer a little bit of discount. So sign up for their Facebook, Instagram, just to keep in touch, see where they're at. Maybe they have just a special coupon code for Christmas or something. But overall, I think you can't go wrong. The prices are right. They're really affordable brushes. They compete with drugstore level brushes, Real Techniques even. They're competing price-wise with those. So you can't go wrong. They're high quality for the price, and I think they're worth the investment. So if you're interested in checking out these brushes, they get my full support. There are a couple of brushes that are hit or miss, depending on the shape that you like, and there are a couple that aren't the greatest quality and do shed. I just had like one or two brushes that I can seriously say I wouldn't recommend. There's one scratchy eye brush and one shedding face brush, but that's it of all the brushes that I bought. And I got a lot of the brushes and I've been using them, testing them, and those are the only ones that really had an issue, you know what I mean? So I think you can't go wrong. I highly recommend them, and I'll leave a full list of the ones that I described in the video. It's a long video. I know I covered a lot because that's what these videos are, but hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Hopefully I answered all of your questions. If you still have questions, leave them below. I will try to get back to you as quickly as possible. It may take a little while, but I'll get back to you. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and for subscribing. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video, definitely hit favorites and share with your friends. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.